What's good, YouTube? It's your girl Jess. I'm back. I had to talk about this subject, and as you know, I had to take my time, develop a good narrative, develop a good topic, storyline, all the things, because I love to make videos about topics that are not talked about enough. And this one specifically is very slimly talked about. I feel like it's kind of taboo in the lesbian community. I also think that's kind of weird that that's the case. I also have my own personal experiences with this, and I just want to talk about this topic in general. The reason I'm talking so openly about this in my life right now is because recently I've been on a podcast with my homegirl Kate. If you have not seen Talk About It with Kate, go check out that podcast. As soon as we're born, we're given a color, given a gendered name, we're given an assignment. We are told that as a woman are supposed to be attracted to men, we're supposed to be taken care of by them, we're supposed to be the household women, the people that kind of take a seat back a little bit. We're not really taught to be very powerful at a young age, especially as women. I talk about a lot of these things in my previous videos about how I came out and how that happened for me, and it wasn't a very pleasant experience, and I don't wish that on anybody, and that's why I make these videos, because I want you guys to understand that you can develop your own opinion about anything in this world. You can develop exactly how you want to live, how you want to be, who you want to be, and you can try everything without any shame behind it. So taking that concept of something that we are kind of forced into from birth, even some of us into our late years, don't even question some things or even try different things because of things like shame or how things are supposed to be or what we're taught or what our friends are doing or what judgments people will make on us. And a lot of us restrict ourselves from adventuring out of the norm. And that to me is so sad. That to me is so restricting, and that is a life that a lot of us sadly live, and I don't like that. And hopefully with this video, you too can understand that you can do whatever you truly want in this world as long as you're safe and willing and capable. I personally talked about this recently about how I felt like I was making a choice with coming out. At the end of the day, it felt weird and wrong to me almost because I was deciding to get with a girl from being with strictly men my whole life up until 22. I was so blinded by what it was supposed to be. It took someone else's curiosity and persistence in my DM to really get my attention for me to kind of question myself and be like, would I like this? Would I really be into this? Someone actually likes me from the same sex. That's kind of crazy. But it doesn't feel natural for me to just like do it, and it's not happening naturally. It's online. It's kind of like me deciding like, I'm gonna invite this in my life. I'm gonna make this decision. I'm gonna be intentional with this decision. And at the end of the day, a lot of us think that decisions based on our sexuality or our preferences, that's not how it's supposed to be. A lot of straight women I talk to think that because they're making a decision to experiment, that's not how it works. Like you have to feel something, or you have to have a life revelation, or somebody has to turn you out for you to be like, oh shit, I did actually really just like to not be with a man and rather be over here on this side, because this side is really nice. So when I made the decision to finally do this with a woman and have this whole life revelation, I think because of the braveness in the decision and knowing that I can make these decisions for myself, even though society tells us we can't for some reason, it allowed me to really live and breathe and renew my life in a way that fits me and allows me to truly be authentic to myself as a woman. A lot of women sadly don't even experience what that means to them or how that looks for them because they don't make these important decisions for themselves, thinking that making those decisions is something so wrong or not how it's supposed to be made. I'm emphasizing decision because at the end of the day, when it comes to relationship dynamics, sexuality, everything that you decide to do with yourself is still technically a decision. A lot of straight women comments are always like, unfortunately, I'm straight. Unfortunately, I can't decide. Unfortunately, it's not my choice. But sometimes it can be. Sometimes you do have that choice and that option, but a lot of us think that you don't even have the option to explore that. And that concept to me is crazy. And I really hope that my videos and my words and my presence is allowing you guys to really dive deep into knowing that you can make any type of decision for yourself when it comes to any aspect of whatever you're doing in your life. With that being said, I've made so many decisions in my life and pushed myself to experiment and to try almost everything I possibly could and still am doing. And purposely being open to do that has been life-changing and has allowed me to live a much more fulfilling, exciting, passionate, adventurous life while still holding my core values and personality of being chill, calm, relaxed, And none of that has really changed. It's just me being like, nobody else is gonna decide this for me. Nobody else's experience is going to tell me how my experience with that experience is going to be. Everybody's interpretation of an experience is different to them, unique to them. So if any of you out there have a limited or scarcity mindset, I would really encourage you to open up. And even though a lot of you don't because you're scared, I would challenge you to dive deep into what scared means for you. Why are you scared? What are you scared of? Who are you scared of? What are the things that are making you feel insecure or anxious or unable to do something that is not normally in your life, or something that feels so bizarre? And for me, what felt bizarre a while ago was non-monogamy, was polyamory, was being open. And there's very few things that I've found out there that have been very helpful when it comes to my journey. And one of my theories as to why that is because a lot of us are very jealous. A lot of us are very insecure. A lot of us carry drama as women. But that's exactly why I'm making this video, because a lot of us think that polyamory and open relationships come with these things more than regular relationships do. And we're gonna challenge that thought today. I'm almost 30 and I've been dating this whole time. I've had a lot of situationships. I've had a lot of complicated relationships. One of the most common denominators from all these women and the complications I had was I didn't know what I wanted, and I always am going to progress and get more involved in what I'm doing in my life, in my career, in my opportunities, in my life in general. I don't like to feel too comfortable to a point where it's a schedule where nothing's changing and there's no elevation happening. And that's been one of my biggest struggles when it comes to dating, finding women that fully and completely understand that idea. So instead of challenging my relationship dynamic and being more open to being open, I was like being one of those lesbians that was like, I just want something casual. I don't want anything serious. So now that I've stepped into this realm of polyamory with a partner who is already living this life, I'm able to understand this life a lot better. I called this into my life on purpose. You guys know this if you know me. I bring everything I ever want into my life. And I called into my life at the time a person that would understand my lifestyle, that is someone that is not a controlling or insecure or jealous person, someone that is very secure in themselves, in their career, and lives the same kind of lifestyle as me, someone that just gets me, gets my mindset, gets life like how I get life. And that to me was so rare, but I also wanted the opportunity to be open with someone and explore that. I found that all within one person. And when I found them, they were already living this life. Therefore, I was able to just fall into it perfectly. And I baby stepped, I tiptoed, I took my time. I learned a lot about myself. That is the number one thing I will tell you guys right off the bat about polyamory, about open relationships, is you will learn so much more about yourself, your ego, what you really want, who you truly are, what you are truly capable of. Like, there's so many things that you can explore about yourself that you probably don't even know is possible until you really try it. And you have people around you that makes sense to try it with. Now, disclaimer, this is not for everybody. I'm not pushing this on anybody. And I'm not saying that everybody can do this, but I am saying that, again, this is a decision that I made. This is something that I was interested in. This is something that I want to say that I did. Even if it doesn't last my whole life, I still want to know that I've tried almost every type of thing in my life to see what I truly like and what I don't like. So now I'm here almost 8 months later, and I've been living this life of being open and free and able to dance with other women, to flirt with other women, to be on stages across the country, now across the world, and to also share a life like this with someone who also understands those things because they live the same life as well. The second thing I learned about this type of relationship dynamic is you can literally create it any way you want. You can develop personal boundaries, things that you both agree on, things you both disagree on, understanding all the things that you probably can't talk about with your monogamous partner because it's too hard, or it's taboo, or it should be already known that we don't cheat, that we don't explore other people, that we don't flirt with other people. This relationship dynamic causes you to have a whole wall that you've probably held up and you didn't even know about in your subconscious, broken down into a way that allows you to have more open conversations about things in your life. To understand that there's a lot more to explore when it comes to conversating and diving deep into someone, their life, their interests, their values, noticing how fast those things can change. And it really shows the unique fashion in which you can develop a relationship with someone. The freedom that comes with that level of understanding between you two can allow you to develop yourself, that person, the relationship, your lives, your careers, your money, everything in your life, because you have something that is, in a way, a lot healthier sometimes. Things that happen outside of your relationship, if you develop it this way where it's personal between you two, or if you decide to add a third or a fourth or whatever, you're able to find a new level of security within that. And I've found that personally so beautiful in something that is open, in something that is able to expand and could possibly end or could possibly turn into something else. And that's another reason why I had to make this video, because this is a personal experience within the relationship dynamic that I'm talking about of being open. But everybody's open relationship, everybody's polyamorous relationship is different within their own. At the end of the day, nobody has what you have and nobody else will. And one of the parts of my ego has always taught me that I need more forms of validation from other podcasts, from other relationships, from other people, from other experiences, in order to validate what I do have with someone, because of the rules that we've set in monogamous relationships, the rules that we've set in polyamorous relationships. A lot of us subconsciously do that, sadly. And that is something I didn't even realize I did until I started doing this. I didn't realize I had a lot of subconscious beliefs and values and traditions that were carried on from my monogamous, my heterosexual, that were carried into something that is so unique, so different, so beautiful. And instead of looking at it that way, I was looking at it from all these other perspectives and what I have been taught and the past and past versions of myself. And because of that, that was one of the things that I had to regurgitate out of my ego. I was like, I really had to unlearn a lot of things that I was taught and to stop searching for these other forms of validation from other people. That moves me into a third thing that I've learned, which is another level of detachment. This type of relationship dynamic will push and pull your ego, your feelings, your jealousy, your thoughts, all the things in so many directions. And a lot of what your ego is trying to do is attach to somebody. And a lot of our monogamous relationships teach us that because we're boyfriend and girlfriend, because we're girlfriend and girlfriend, because we are in something with just you and me and that's it, and there's boundaries where if you flirt, if you look, if you touch, or if you fuck anybody else, that's it, we're done. Because those things are based on ownership in a way. A lot of us like that. A lot of us like, I own you, that's me, that's mine. A lot of us don't like that, but we still do monogamous relationships. We want to feel free, but we just want to be with one person. All these things are fine, but I do challenge a lot of us, even within our own monogamous relationships, to understand that you can never, ever hold someone hostage to a point where that is your person for life and you own them, because they're never gonna be here forever. You're never gonna be here forever. So that whole principle, that whole idea of understanding that like everything is temporary. We are all temporary people. We are all here for a certain time on earth. Our relationships are here for a certain time on earth. A lot of our relationships are only here to teach us a lesson. That sometimes is a pill we don't want to swallow. A lot of us live and breathe this idea that things aren't temporary and that you are my person forever. And we live in this sort of delusion. And not to say that there isn't any delusion in polyamory either, but you have to detach your mind in general from things thinking that it's gonna last forever. Try to delete that idea out of your mind, and that'll cause you to be so much more present, focus on what is important in those moments, understanding that this person is temporary, understanding that your feelings may be temporary. And that's one of the really big benefits of being in something open, because you already have that understanding with someone. There's no expectation to get married. There's no expectation to have kids. There's no expectation to move in together and buy a house. And to keep it 100 with you guys, I did have expectations when I first started this. Instead of it just being an opportunity to breathe and live and enjoy this person and this presence and this relationship. So when I finally allowed myself to recenter, refocus, and constantly do that, because it's not like it's just a decision, like I said about other things, even though it can be sometimes. It's a battle with your own self constantly and your thoughts constantly for a period of time of being like, and just being like, finally, I can be okay and feel good in making this decision and mindset of understanding that I am detached, that we are detached in a way, that you are your own individual and we are being individuals together in our own developed relationship that works for both of us. And obviously people who are more free in life and they want to feel more free in life, they tend to gravitate towards this relationship dynamic because it makes more sense. And I didn't think about those things when I was still monogamous, because I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be with just one person and that's it. It's wrong if I flirt with someone else while I'm with someone. I never cheated. I've never done anything outside of what was said or bound between the two of us. But there was a lot of things that I felt withheld within myself. And being a dancer, being a performer, being someone who's out here as an entertainer in general, in the entertainment space, in the queer entertainment space, there is so much I have to deal with when it comes to other women and other feelings and other conversations and relationships. I didn't like to feel limited a lot of the times. And then there would be a point in my relationships where I felt like maybe I wasn't getting enough of what I did need. And instead of thinking that I could confide in other people or be free to do that with other people or to explore that, and when the opportunity arises towards me, I would just be like, and I felt within myself this blockage and this uncomfortable feeling of like, damn, like I kind of want to, I kind of feel restricted. I don't like that feeling. I don't like feeling like I can't even look at that person. It is just a lot of unnecessary stuff, and I don't even believe monogamous people should live that way. In any relationship in general, if there is some level of jealousy, if there's some level of control where you feel that feeling that I was talking about when you're doing other things, I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that that comes with the package or should come with the package. As humans in general, we're gonna evolve, we're gonna develop, we're gonna meet new people. That is what's supposed to happen. And why do monogamous relationships get so miserable and end up in divorce 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, 5 days down the line? Because they end up feeling stuck. They end up feeling restricted. They end up feeling the curiosity in exploring somebody else, and it ends up winning, and they end up cheating, and then it destroys the relationship. This is the fourth thing that I have learned and I love about this, even though sometimes it's a pain in the butt, is you are going to have to constantly communicate. You have to almost always be engaged in some type of conversation, be open to some type of conversation, to never deny a conversation, to always feel supportive and be supportive as a partner when it comes to conversating, controlling your emotions when you do have these conversations, knowing your boundaries, defining what you feel. That's why I say this really took me to a whole nother level of myself and my ego and understanding about myself, because I did not realize how much I needed to work on diving deeper into what I truly am feeling. And a lot of times we don't even think about what the emotion is stemming from in monogamous relationships, because we're just like, well, I'm feeling jealous because of so-and-so, and that's it. You should feel sorry for what you did because I feel jealous. Instead, in this dynamic, you can't do that. You can't be like, I feel jealous, that's it, and you should stop talking to that person. No. Most of the time in these relationships, I mean, there can be certain boundaries you guys develop within each other, but a lot of the times you have to be open to whatever that person is developing in their life, to whatever they're doing for themselves, exploring for themselves, as long as, and this is where the jealousy thing comes in and people don't understand how it works, as long as you're being honest, you're being open, you're being receptive, and it's not in a way that breaks your boundaries or is being deceitful. And this is the fifth thing that I will talk about, is that jealousy doesn't go away. I think it's rare that the whole feeling of jealousy within your whole body can completely go away. Jealousy in general comes from our thoughts, our vision, our experiences. If it's shoved into our face without any type of warning, I feel like that for me is something I'm still working on. If it's a new dynamic within the relationship or a new relationship within the relationship you're not necessarily prepared for or you haven't experienced yet, I feel like that's when it arises for me as well. There's just like different levels of jealousy. If our relationship is private and we're not trying to see each other with other people in front of our faces, then that's where it can get a little complicated and those feelings can arise. Now, dealing with that can come with feelings of anger, feelings of sadness, feelings of resentment, feelings of abandonment. And that's what I've dealt with a lot of in my whole life. And a lot of this I felt like just kind of regurgitated out of my system these past 8 months or so. And I'm looking forward to so many more experiences with this. I'm learning that the more that I tackle these feelings, these emotions head on, I'm able to identify what I am feeling and what is causing the feeling and what event might have caused that and how can I unlearn that, how can I shift that, how can I control my thoughts better, how can I control my emotions better. It's outside of dynamics, it's outside of relationships, it's outside of people, it's within ourselves. I did not know that I could feel free in being involved with more than one person at once and manage that and manage feelings of jealousy and manage dynamics and manage rules and boundaries. I didn't know I could do that. I didn't even know I had the chance to do that. It's been able to free my mind. It's been able to free the guilt that I felt for my whole life from monogamous people, from what I was taught. And that brings me into number 6, is a new level of respect for myself, my partner, people that do this, because it takes so much more effort. It takes so much more responsibility about yourself, insight within yourself, within life, within dynamics, within people. I think the bigger reason why a lot of people say they can't do it is because they don't want to look within themselves so deeply and to see how jealous they can truly get. And personality flaws and old beliefs, things that withhold us in living a more free life. Number 7 of what I learned is that these types of relationship dynamics tend to last longer. They tend to develop slower. Time moves differently within these relationship dynamics. You end up developing a unique relationship within each other, and your lives are still going. So sometimes, especially in the beginning, there's not many changes that happen. It still kind of feels like a situationship, still kind of feels like something new. There's not many changes in your own personal life in order to make this thing happen and work. Those crazy obsessions and expectations that monogamous relationships have on us, which I used to hate having. I'm like, oh, I can't even acknowledge or try to date anybody because they think I have to marry them, or this has to lead to marriage, or marriage is the end game here, kids is the end game here in order for me to have this relationship with this person. That's really what it is at the end of the day. I think why I love it so much, because it's just an addition to your life, and things are progressing a lot slower. So like I said, I'm 8 months in. I feel like it's only been 2 months. I feel like we just started. And I never felt like that when I was with somebody in a monogamous relationship, because I was with them a lot more. My life stopped a lot more. I felt way more restricted in what I was doing, and I was more focused and centered on texting them and calling them and making them a priority instead of myself or my life or my career or other people, my family, my friends. And I've noticed that a lot within the lesbian community, and that's like really well known as like, as soon as you get into a relationship as a lesbian, you disappear. We don't see from you. It's just you guys show up together, not at all. You become a homebody. You don't want to go out. And that can be all good and well, especially when it first starts, or like you're married and down the line and you're comfortable and you're situated. But a lot of us will feel some type of way eventually, because it's like, I still have a life. I still want to live my life. I still want to have friends. I still want to be able to explore things with you. This relationship dynamic keeps things very fresh. There isn't like a subconscious blanket over the relationship that keeps you in the secure place where you don't have to question things or do certain things. It's like, I'm making this conscious decision to be with you. I'm with you. I'm with myself. I'm consciously making this decision, and you know it, and you are too. And that is really what a relationship is at the end of the day. And we forget that. We think love is what does it. We think connection is what does it. Those are just benefits of relationships. Relationships only work because you both are constantly, consistently making this decision to be together, communicate, to be honest, to make decisions that respect boundaries, to always be understanding of a person's life progression, and to flow with them instead of try to hold them back and own them. And to give ultimatums like that damn show, which I hated watching and being in this relationship dynamic, because I'm like, why are we even making people decide this? A lot of y'all don't even truly want to get married. But Vanessa made a really good point, and even though we can't stand her, she made a really good point where she wanted 2 people basically at the same time, and that can happen and can work. But because it's a monogamous thing, those are not the rules, it's not allowed, it can't work, and all of a sudden it's out of the picture. Number 8, which I really wanted to talk about within our own community, gay men eat this type of relationship dynamic up. And I didn't even know how prevalent and common it is between gay men, and I don't know why this isn't as common with lesbians, but they are so open, they are so polyamorous, they are so free in doing this with each other. And yes, it can get messy, but that's just gay boy culture. And gay culture in general, we know it's messy. But for it to be so taboo between women is kind of weird to me. It says a lot about women and lesbians in general. I think a lot of us want to have this kind of controlling ideology and like the comfort in it and the fantasy in it. Well, now we don't have to date men, so I can own you as a woman. And that's gonna boost my ego, and that's gonna make me feel good. And then what do a lot of you guys do? Cheat, lie. Break up with the person because you're not happy and you feel restricted, or you want to explore, or you don't know what you want yet. And one thing I have noticed too, which is interesting as I've been in this experience, is when I would say, I'm in a situationship, or I'm with this person but I don't know what it is, or I have a little thing over here. People don't respect that as much. People see that as a fuckboy thing. But as soon as I was like, I'm in an open relationship and upfront about it, and I tell people that option as soon as I meet them, I have not had one girl be like, oh, well, never mind. I've had every single girl be like, okay, and? So what are we doing? And they're open to me talking about them. My partner's open to me talking to them about it. Like, there's just so much freedom in it. And because you're being secure in what you want and what you have and what you're doing, even if you don't have a partner and you want to be polyamorous and you're saying you're polyamorous from the jump, all they can do is respect it. But that's not to say that everybody you meet can actually truly handle it. So that's why this stuff takes longer to develop, because it's like, oh yeah, that's cool. But then sometimes you don't know if that's really truly cool or if they truly are about that life until they really get into it. And when I was getting into this, I did have my doubts. I did have my own personal things where I was like, I don't know, this is shit. I had a breakdown. I was going through it, and it's not easy. Nothing about what I've been saying says that this is easy, but there are things about these relationships that make life easier. The whole concept is permanence is gone. Freedom is here. Life is here. Life changes. Life flows. We move with it, and we don't fight it. We don't try to control people. We don't try to own people. And that can be very, very uncomfortable for a lot of us. But when you break out of those ideas, I'm telling you, being on this side feels really, really good. Before I end this video, I know you guys, if you made it this far, want to understand what I'm in, who I'm dating, what's the 411. I'm very hesitant to truly announce this so publicly, because the more private it is, we all know the better it is. And I really value that nowadays. Really want to protect this in a way that makes sense. So maybe I'm taking my time, obviously, because like I said, this takes a lot of time to develop. I'm being honest and open in my experience with this and my timing of this. I always watch my old videos and I'm like, damn, I was in such a different mindset. I was dating so many different people. I was doing, and this is where I'm at now, and I'm gonna change. And I'm so blessed to have a partner that understands it, is patient with me, is holding my hand and making me feel secure in so many different ways, and is just such a healthy person that I actually look up to. I am inspired by. I've never ever felt that in my entire life. I encourage you guys, especially if you want to get into something like this, to make sure you do it with someone that is like that, because that's honestly the only way that things like this can work anyways. You really truly have to find someone that isn't going to be fazed by you out here humping 5 different women on a stage in a different country or a different stage while they're not there. And they're gonna be like, cool, congrats, I'm so proud of you. You know, you have to find people that understand and truly respect your lifestyle. That is literally the only way I'm finding that these types of relationships can work, is when they're not completing you, they're just adding to you. And that goes for any relationship. I don't even care the dynamic, because that's truly what it is all about. And this new level of love that I'm sharing with someone is so expansive and different than anything I've ever experienced in my life. And I'm truly just blessed and grateful. And I think that's why I'm able to do this and continually do this and feel good in doing this, because I'm in such a state of gratitude and appreciation and living in this new level of love that I've never lived previously. All of my monogamous relationships had love with condition. And not to say that there can't be conditions in love when it comes to polyamorous relationships, but it's saying, I'm choosing to do this with you. I'm choosing to love you. I'm choosing to communicate with you and be honest with you even when I don't want to. I'm making these conscious decisions because I want to. Because unconditionally, no matter what happens, even if we do not work out, I will still love that person for who they are. It's so beautiful to see love just being love for what it is. And I'm honestly so inspired by my partner, because they live that reality so much better than I do. And I'm learning to do that a lot better without any ego behind it. But to see someone else do that in front of your face, to love unconditionally, is something that I feel like a lot of people wish they could do. But a lot of us don't have that within ourselves to break out of those feelings and really try to believe that that is possible. But it is. Nothing about this is fake. Nothing about making this decision to try it is wrong. It's saying this exists. As much as you love your monogamous partner and you're married and you have kids and you have a house, is equally as valid as loving someone in an open relationship, or even just loving someone as a polyamorous person. There's no hierarchy within love. It's saying that love is love. I'm here as a living, breathing example that this can be a reality for you, for myself, and it looks like this, and there's no bounds to it. So I encourage you guys to open your minds. I really appreciate you guys for listening if you made it this far. And for those who want to have more about this conversation, let's hit those comments below and talk about it. I love you guys. Love is love. Love is unconditional. Love is beautiful. I have more videos coming for you guys. I appreciate you. Peace.